Hello, I am the Namekian. Welcome to my quick, spoiler-free look at the summer blockbuster movie, The Avengers. Time for some history. First, the comics. I will be leaving out the Ultimates since I'm not a fan of that universe and don't really follow it. I was not an Avenger fan growing up. Not that I didn't like the book, just didn't have the funds to add it to my list. The Avengers was Marvel's answer to the popular DC team, the Justice League. Teaming up some A-list and B-list characters. The original team consisted of Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Wasp, and Ant-Man. The book was a big success and is still going on to this day. For me, what made this book entertaining to read was the constant changing of the characters on the team while avoiding the big guns of the Marvel Universe. Sort of think of it like the Justice League without Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Before getting into the Avengers movie, first a quick look at the other recent Marvel films to show where I'm coming from. First up, in 2008, Iron Man. I can't think of a better Tony Stark than Robert Downey Jr., and while the origin dragged on a little too much, it was an overall enjoyable film and rather true to the source material. Also in 2008, we got The Incredible Hulk. Now, sadly, I haven't seen this film, or even the 2003 Eric Bana Hulk for that matter. Not for any distaste for the films, I've heard great things about both of them, just haven't gotten around to seeing it. From the clips that I have seen of the movie, Ed Norton does play a very well-rounded Banner and Hulk. In 2010, we got Iron Man 2. Now, this movie was disappointing to me. Not only is the story an almost carbon copy of the first film, the main villain, Whiplash, is a joke of a villain in the main comics. He is one of those baddies that you use when you need a hero to take someone down in one or two panels. Next is Thor, released in 2011. This was also something of a disappointment. A standard, no-surprise story, totally missing the point of the characters that it is trying to portray. In the comics, it is Odin that is nuts, not Thor, which adds to the complication Thor has when Loki tries to take over. Why not make the movie all about Asgard? Why add the Earth element? Why create the professor scientist Eric Salvin over established ones like Hank Pym or Scott Lang? The movie wasn't bad, just very disappointing. Last, we have Captain America, released in 2012. This is probably my favorite one out of the bunch. I am so very glad that they kept it in World War II and not modern day. The uniform actually looks pretty good, and the story stays rather true to the comics, so no real complaints there. There were a few things that I didn't really care for. Bucky's death didn't quite work for me, and while I understand it, using Hydra instead of Nazis kinda got to me. But really, the biggest thing was Chris Evans. He looks the part just fine, but he is just way too smug to be Captain America. And on a side note, I liked the alternate ending better as well.
Who are you?
Colonel Nick Fury, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. You would have known us as the Strategic Scientific Reserve.
Where am I?
46th and Broadway. I'm sorry about that little show back there, but we didn't know what your mental state might be, so we thought it best to break it to you slowly.
Break what?
You've been asleep, Cap, for almost 70 years.
How am I alive?
Well, to be honest with you, we don't really know. My docs say it was suspended animation. Could be Dr. Erskine's formula, the extreme cold. I don't know.
What about the war? Did we win?
Hell yes, unconditional surrender. And taking down Hydra was a big part of that. But the world hasn't changed all that much. There's still a lot of work to be done. A soldier's work. The world can still use a man like you, Cap. There's a place here for you. Sure you're all right?
Yeah, I had a date.
Now that you know where I stand, the Avengers movie. I went into this not hoping for much. Large team movies just hasn't worked in the past. Usually the big name actor or actors get the spotlight and everyone else takes a back seat. This, fortunately, is not the case here, and I was very happy with the result. Downey was again the perfect Stark, making his presence known, which fits his character, but not being the main focus of the movie. Evans is a far better Captain America in this film than in his own, and thankfully his out-of-time plot is very much downplayed. Seriously, it's in every Captain America cartoon and movie. Sort of tired of it. Chris Hemsworth returns as Thor and is also better than in his movie. Mark Ruffalo takes the role of Bruce Banner, and I found him to be rather good. Having not seen the other Hulk movies, I can't compare him to Ed Norton, but both Bruce and Hulk are done very well. Jeremy Renner and Tom Hiddleston as Hawkeye and Loki are also both enjoyable. My only real complaint is Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow. I didn't really care for her in Iron Man 2, and I still don't really care for her here. Ignoring the fact that they couldn't get either a Russian or redhead for the role, I just can't see her as the world's greatest assassin. With that said, her character is very well written and stays close to the comics. The action scenes are enjoyable, and there are plenty of nods to comic fans as well. Example being the inclusion of Maria Hill. Means nothing to non-fans, but a nice touch to show some effort went into researching. Heck, even the foot soldiers of the movie, the Chitauri, is not some made-up thing, but it is in the comics, at least in the Ultimate Universe. You will not be disappointed with this movie in 2D or 3D, and well worth the ticket price. The bar has been set pretty high if DC ever ends up making their Justice League movie. On a final note, like with all other Marvel movies, make sure to catch both scenes after the credits. It leaves a great piece of sequel bait showing off one of my favorite Marvel baddies. Hope this has proven helpful. Expect more of these types of reviews to come as the comic movie summer continues. Thanks for watching. God bless.